This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao. A gift from Italy to your home. San Pellegrino Ciao is a flavored sparkling water made with real fruit juice, finished with a pinch of Sicilian salt for a perfectly balanced taste. So which flavor will you choose? Peach, lime, blood orange, cherry, or maybe the all-new limoncello? Crafted in Italy with 0 grams of added sugar. San Pellegrino Ciao. Buy it now.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
The Full Court Press is on the air. Now, here's Sean Spicer.
Welcome back to Full Court Press. I'm your host, Sean Spicer. On this Sunday morning, I am honored to be joined by the House Majority Whip, the gentleman, the congressman from Minnesota, Tom Emmer. Congressman Tom Emmer, thanks for joining us. Listen, what's going on? I know the president was excited about this housing bill. He came up to the Hill. There's some holdup. Why don't you just give listeners a sense of where things stand in the House and what's happening?
Well, the House, as you know, this past week, things kind of came to a screeching halt. The president, I think he's got some challenges on the other side of the building, Sean. You know, he's his relationship
that would be the Senate
with the Senate is just a little bit stressed, I guess you could say right now. That has impacted the House in terms of some of our members who believe they're representing the people at home and they're helping the president with his agenda. But they've kind of slowed us up a little bit. So we're going to be back this coming week. And when we get back, I mean, we've already passed 2 appropriations bills. We got 10 more to do. We got the annual national defense bill that's got to be done this coming week. We're trying to pass another smaller reconciliation bill. We've also got a highway bill, which has to get done on or before September 30th as well, and that's a major piece of legislation. And then we'll probably take up the WRDA bill. We passed one of those, by the way, for people listening and don't know what it is. It's an acronym, and I'm not going to give the words, but it's like
you want to know what? Can I just tell you this? Water Resources Development Act. This is I always wondered if my time as a staff assistant in the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee back in 1996 would come back. I finally found a reason to use it. It's like when I took Latin in high school. I've always wondered if I'd need it. I finally found a good purpose for serving on the EPW committee back in 1996, and you just gave it to me. So there you go.
Well, and we got to pass one of those each Congress to fund projects related to the water resources, ports, waterways, et cetera. So we got a lot to do, Sean, and we'll get back to work this coming week.
And so just explain this, because I think what this boils down to is, as you put it, the president wants to get the Save America Act, but you guys have done that, right? This is not a House problem. You and the House Republicans have passed the Save America Act, correct?
We passed it 3 times, Sean, and we've actually passed, if you include all the versions of it, we've passed it more times than that. And by the way, this has been my complaint. I'll make it very clear to you because I've said it publicly. I'm a big John Thune fan, but I look at, and that's true. I think the world of John Thune, and I think he's trying to be the leader that his members want. But I got to tell you, I understand the president's frustration. You've got an issue, Sean, that 80% of America, Republicans, Democrats, others, all agree that it makes sense. If you're going to vote, you got to prove your citizenship. And by the way, when you show up at the poll on the day of the vote, you should identify yourself, have an identification that proves you are that citizen that's entitled to vote. Everybody agrees with that. And I got to tell you, if you can't pass an 80% issue out of the Senate, what the hell are you doing there?
And look, here's what my take on this is. Tell me if I'm wrong or you agree. I think what frustrates a lot of people, John Thune's sitting there saying, hey, here are the numbers. Here's how many people are voting for it. Here's how many people won't vote for it. So there's a math problem, is basically what Thune is saying. Here's my point. I would argue that show me that you're trying. right? So imagine your kid comes home from school and says, I'm not even going to try to take the test because I'm going to get an F. Most parents would say, why don't you take it? Let's see how you do. At least show us that you're trying. And I think the frustration that I know a lot of people on the right have is that why not try this talking filibuster? Why not? Just at least I get it. Maybe it won't be successful. Maybe all those people are right. But what frustrates, I think, some people, Congressman, is why not just show us that you tried? Maybe the pressure that you just spoke about, that 80% of people who think this is total common sense, puts it on a Mitch McConnell or a Lisa Murkowski who said, all right, I feel the pressure. I'm going to do it. Why not just try a couple of these things that people like Mike Lee have suggested?
Well, I'm with you. I do agree with that, but I think there's a better way to do this. And I really think we should pass a smaller version of a reconciliation bill, and we should attach it to the reconciliation bill. Because the argument they're going to make to you is it takes 60 votes. Well, a reconciliation bill, as you know, only takes 50 plus one. And they'll give you the argument, well, it's not going to be in order by the parliamentarians. Sean, remember back to your days in the U.S. Senate. You can overrule the parliamentarian with 50 plus one. It happens all the time in history. This is not the American public are fed up with being BS. That's what it is.
But here's the thing. Okay, first of all, you made me go back to that nostalgia between WERDA and that. Robert Dove, the parliamentarian, was fired under Bob Dole. But here's the point that I want to make this broader. Tom Emmer just created a path forward, a solution that I think everybody, and that's what I'm talking about. Literally show us a path to yes instead of a path to no. And Tom Emmer from Minnesota, the House Whip, just gave us a roadmap for the Senate. Why not that?
Yep.
Like, okay, so you just put it out there. I think everybody goes, great. I don't really care how you get there. Tell me how you get there. You laid out a path. Why not?
Well, and here's the issue I've got with and this is how this idea comes about. Sean, I've been making the statement: there are no Republicans, there are no Democrats, there are just senators. They both use the filibuster and the parliamentarian to avoid taking votes they don't want to take. Why do we succeed in the House? Because the moment of truth arrives, a vote goes up on the board, and you are going to show the American people if you're with them or against them. And they need to do that in the Senate. Okay, so you won't get rid of the filibuster, even though that didn't start with a country, and you've got some nostalgic attachment to it. Fine. Then put it on a reconciliation bill that only requires Republican votes. And if there is a Republican that is actually going to vote against this in the Senate, they shouldn't be there.
I think you just saw, okay, this is what I'm talking about, though. I love this thinking. This is what we need more of, which is here's how we get to yes. And again, what frustrates people is when you, think about all your different positions, you can go, here's how to do it. And you get a bunch of senators looking, going, interesting. Mike Lee said the talking filibuster, you want to attach it to reconciliation. The Sean Spicer view is great. Do it all. Figure out which one works, but I don't like the frustration. I get it. And so let's just dial back to your members. You've put a path forward. You've explained it. Obviously, you can't do anything more than that. You're a member of the House of Representatives. The senators have the problem. What is the path forward to our members in the House Republican Conference to say, guys, we're doing everything we can, but let's not stop the president's agenda?
Well, it really is going to take the president, our friend Donald Trump, needs to tell the members that we're talking about, who are good members, but he needs to let them know you're not helping. You're actually harming my ability to move the agenda that 77 million people voted for. And I think once he tells them that this is not the way to help me, I think then it opens it all up.
Okay. When we get beyond that, and just to be clear, your members, you guys are going to get your members back and find a way forward and work with these members over. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You alluded to it at the beginning, but between now and November, Election Day, what is at the top of the Tom Emmer list of things that you mentioned the Water Resources Development Act that's got to get passed. I get it. You and I can probably agree that not a lot of people are going to go say, wow, let's maintain a Republican majority because they passed the reauthorization of the Water Resources Development Act. What is it that you, with your perch as having been the top guy on the campaign committee, say, these are the three things we need to get done that will help us explain to the American people why we're doing a good job, we're good stewards as a majority party?
Well, the great peacemaker, Donald Trump, has already done the first thing, and that is finding a path forward in the Middle East and with the Iranians. He has started that process. You have seen gas prices starting to move downward. I mean, it'll take a while, but I think the most important thing is he said as soon as this gets taken care of, they will come back down, and they are. And guess what? We got to be talking about all the good things in the economy, Sean, because there are a lot of good things. There are 99-cent eggs. That's a real thing. In fact, there was a place in California last week where they were 79 cents. You got billions of dollars being pumped into new manufacturing, AI investment all across this country, and it's going to hit. It already is growing the economy, but get ready. By the time we get to the end of August, early September, that is really going to hit. The second piece, I think we do need to get the housing bill signed into law. Is any bill perfect? No, Sean. But this is 85% of the House housing bill, which is great for community banks, which make the vast majority of home mortgage loans in this country. It streamlines, creates efficiencies. It will actually drive more supply. We're 8 million homes short in this country right now. It will drive supply. The bigger the supply, the prices come down. It's a very simple concept, Sean, and I think that's going to be important to us. But then it's just a matter of making sure that the reality that is the economy and the people's perception of that reality intersect by the end of August, beginning of September, because this election is going to be decided by that 80% of the public. And that's just my number, but 80% of us that don't wear a partisan jersey year round, they're earning a living. They're trying to pay a mortgage. They're putting food on the table and clothes on the kids. And they've been thinking from the beginning of the year where they're going to take their family vacation, right? Well, they will wake up sometime after Labor Day, Sean. And when they do, they'll do what Americans always do. They will evaluate their personal situation in an emotional way. Am I in a better position today than I was when this started? And do I see a bright future for me and my family? If the answer to that is yes, Sean, and I believe it will be yes, guess what? They vote for more of what they have. And if it's no, they showed us in 2024 what they will do. They'll say, I can't take another 4 years of Joe Biden. I got to go. I got to change this thing. So I believe that we are on the right side of history. Plus, we've got numbers, Sean. I mean, think about this. Hakeem Jeffries is incompetent. He wants everybody to think he's good. You saw him just get his hat handed to him in his hometown the other night. I want to tell you, with him leading the charge, we're in a great position. He's targeted 40 of our seats. Guess what? Donald Trump's average margin of victory in those 40 seats was 53% plus. Compare that to 2018 when we lost. He was at 46%. So you start out with a 6% advantage right away, and then you got to look at there are 23 Democrats sitting in seats that Donald Trump won in the 2024 election. There are only 8 Republicans sitting in seats that Kamala won, and of those 23, Sean, 14 Democrats sit in seats that Donald Trump won by double digits. I like our chances.
Let's just repeat that. It's a great statistic. 8 Republicans are in Kamala-held districts, right? Did I get that one right? Okay.
Yes.
And 24 Dems in Trump districts? 23. That's huge.
14 of the 23 he won by double digits.
Wow, that is huge. All right, I want to get to Hakeem Jeffries and that in just a second, but let me just be clear. I saw Donald Trump's approval rating rocket up in one poll that the Daily Mail went as soon as this Iranian situation went away. Do you believe that really, I mean, that to you has got to have made life a lot easier with your members? That the second I joke with people every morning that I get coffee, I look at the gas prices, they're going down, down, down. Gas is huge when it comes to people's budgets. They're commuting, maybe they're even in the gig economy, driving an Uber, something like that. How big was that for you and your chances of maintaining the majority?
Well, it is very important because, I mean, this thing that they want us to focus on, which I disagree with, affordability. Affordability is a nonsense term, Sean. affordability is nothing more than another word for the economy. The elections are always about the economy. So the reason they focused on gas, you hit it, but it's also because, like groceries, you don't go into the grocery store every day. You don't fill your tank every day. But you know what you do, Sean? You drive down the street and you're looking at that big sign that says $3.25, $3.50, $3.75, $4. That's, by the way, Menlo Park, California last week. I found one for $7.29. Ouch.
California. So, you can't help California, can you?
Well, I think California, there's something going on there. It might take a little time. But when you have incompetent leadership that leads to loss of life, loss of property, loss of liberty, eventually the public wakes up and says enough. I think it's coming in California.
I do too. It may take a little while, but when you allow that many people just to get high every day, maybe it just takes a little longer. You mentioned Hakeem Jeffries. You've been the head of the campaign committee on the Republican side. You're the whip. I'm going to ask you to do something kind of nuts. Put yourself in their shoes for a second. How concerned should Hakeem Jeffries be that he is now going to have a caucus of, I'd say, a minimum of 8 that are self-identified Democrat Socialists of America? If you just, again, I know this is a bit crazy, but if you as the whip were having to deal with a block like that, especially considering you're from Minnesota, I mean, like, he's got to deal with these New Yorkers in his own state, in his own delegation. And as leader, he's going to have to manage them, whether he's in the majority or the minority, likely in the minority. Talk to us about how difficult that is as a job to manage that.
Well, first off, Hakeem Jeffries doesn't have to worry about it at all because he's not going to be the leader. I mean, this guy. No, I'm serious. This guy.
Good. I like that. I like that confidence. I agree with you, but I just like to hear you. I keep telling people the math doesn't add up for the Democrats. The pundits are lazy and stupid. The math favors Republicans. The money favors Republicans. I agree with you. I just think that it's another reminder that these guys just love to blow smoke up the media.
Without a doubt, Sean, which is why I love talking to you, because you don't do that. This guy doesn't have to worry about it because he will not be the leader. Somebody else will be the leader. You ask me what I would do? Look, first off, I'm not going to associate with people who hate my country. I'm not going to associate with people who say things as stupid as I wipe myself with the American flag. I'm not going to be in a party where patriotism is now 20% of the party. The rest of them don't like this country. They hate this country. I'm not going to be in a party where Graham Plattner has a Nazi tattoo on his chest and then tries to gaslight everybody, telling them, well, I didn't know what it was when they put it on there. Really? If you're that dumb, you shouldn't be running for office in the first place. I'm not going to be in a party with someone like Ilhan Omar, who is a racist, hateful, anti-Semite. I'm not going to be in a party that elects an attorney general in Virginia who fantasizes about murdering his opponent's family and his opponent. This is what America is getting. And you know what? The farther they go, they keep putting these people up. I can't believe the guy who is going to run in New Jersey who supported the blind sheep. These are people who killed Americans. It's just.
Well, you got, and by the way, on the Senate side, you got El Said, who's hanging around with people that said that America deserved 9/11. I mean, this is where the Democratic Party is today. Honest to God, in my entire life, I would never imagine that party had gone that nuts. Congressman Emmer, you've been very. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to say one more thing, and that is, if you came to this country, you came to America because of what America offers. And now you're running for office or you're committing bad acts against this country, you should be denaturalized and shipped the hell back to where you came from.
Yes, thank you. You're saying what so many people are saying. We need that kind of leadership right now. People are willing to say this because if you don't want to be an American, don't come or get out. And I think everybody wants to tiptoe around this stuff, and I appreciate your voice and your leadership on stuff like this. I want to ask you one last question, though, sir, on a Sunday morning.
Yes, sir.
I had Congresswoman Erin Houchin on the show, your colleague from Indiana, and she is fantastic. And one of the issues, and I'm sure as a father and and throughout your district, you hear a lot of people talk about the dangers of social media with kids. Where do you think so where are you in the House leadership on the issue of trying to protect kids from the dangers of social media?
Well, I'm a little bit more radical on some of this stuff. I do believe in the freedom, but when you're talking about young minds, these algorithms that literally engage, enrage. I mean, I think a vast majority of the mental health issues we're dealing with in this country are directly related to the new forms of communication that we have. I do believe that there should be some reasonable restrictions. I mean, it's the same thing we do with alcohol and tobacco. It's the same thing that we do with movies, right? You can't go to certain movies until you're developed at a certain age. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's no reason why you couldn't put reasonable restrictions that would protect kids as they develop and probably solve a great deal of the mental health issues. But the other place, Sean, where I'm different, I think we should all own our own data. I think you and I should own all of our data, so when these big tech companies come in and start scraping it, they can be held liable. That has value, Sean. It's my value that I'm creating. It's Sean Spicer's value. If they want our stuff, first they got to ask us, and second, they got to compensate us if they're going to do that. I think that's part of the problem, too, is they're just taking all this data and building these algorithms, and that's where it comes from.
I love it. Count me on board on both. Tom Emmer, Congressman from Minnesota, House Majority Whip. Thank you for your leadership. Thanks for what you're doing. I appreciate you joining us on this Sunday morning. Folks, we'll be right back.
Thanks, Sean. Happy birthday, America.
This is Full Court Press with Sean Spicer on 77 WABC.